The bar doors slammed open like thunder, rolling through a storm. Boots scraped against the wooden floor, laughter rough and mean. A group of bikers swaggered in, their vests soaked from the rain. Their presence enough to silence the jukebox. Behind the counter stood Mara, a young waitress with tired eyes and trembling hands. She kept her head down, hoping they wouldn't notice her shaking. But fate had other plans. One of the bikers slammed his hand on the counter and sneered, "Hey, sweetheart. We're thirsty and we like quick service." She forced a smile, whispering softly, "Coming right up." But when she accidentally spilled a drink, laughter erupted. The leader leaned in close, grabbing the edge of her shirt. "You nervous, doll?" he mocked, tugging at the fabric. Her lips quivered. "If you're gonna do it," she whispered, "just end it fast." The biker froze mid-motion, because what lay been. The air thickened with tension as Mara's whisper cut through the noise. The biker's smirk faltered for a split second, confusion flickering in his eyes. She stood completely still, shoulders trembling, her voice barely audible. "Please, I've been through worse," she said softly, almost to herself. The laughter died around her. Behind the counter, the old bartender stopped wiping glasses, his gaze heavy with worry. Mara wasn't just scared, she sounded resigned. It was the kind of tone you only hear from someone who's already survived hell once before. The biker frowned, trying to read her expression. "Worse than us?" he asked, his voice low now, uncertain. She looked up slowly, her eyes glossy but fierce. "Worse than anything you could imagine." For the first time, silence fell, not from intimidation but from confusion, and before anyone could speak again, a faint scar beneath her collar caught the light, hinting at a past that no one in that bar could have guessed. At her trembling voice was something no one in that bar expected to hear next. The flicker of the neon light danced across her collarbone, illuminating the faint outline of a burn scar, old, jagged, and unmistakably deliberate. The biker who held her shirt froze, his grip loosening. Mara took a trembling step back, clutching her torn sleeve, her breathing sharp and uneven. "You think I'm scared of pain?" she whispered, her voice shaking but steady. "I lived through it." The room seemed to shrink around her, the scent of beer and smoke turning heavy and still. The men who had entered laughing now stood speechless. The leader blinked, his tone softening without realizing it. "What happened to you?" he muttered. But Mara didn't answer. She just turned away, reaching for a towel to clean the spilled drink. The old bartender's voice broke the silence. "Boys," he said quietly, "maybe it's time you showed some respect." Yet the bikers couldn't move, because they all knew something had changed in the air. And then, the leader noticed the small military tag glinting from around her neck. The small metal tag caught the light, a Marine Corps dog tag, worn and scratched, but still shining like a medal of quiet defiance. The biker's eyes widened. You served?" he stammered. Mara didn't look up. "Once," she said softly, folding a wet napkin. "A long time ago." The old bartender, Gus, stepped closer, his voice low and steady. She wasn't just a waitress, son. She saved 3 men overseas when her convoy was ambushed. The bar fell into stunned silence. Even the jukebox seemed to hum quieter, as if listening. Mara's hand trembled slightly, not from fear, but from memory. "War doesn't end when you come home," she whispered. "It just changes faces." The biker who'd mocked her earlier took a slow step back, his smirk long gone. "I didn't know," he murmured. Mara finally looked up, her eyes glistening, not with anger but exhaustion. "No one ever does," she replied. Then from the corner of the bar, a soft voice spoke, a little girl's voice. "Mom!" Every head turned toward the door. A small girl, no older than 7, stood dripping from the rain, clutching a worn backpack to her chest. Her voice trembled. "Mom, I waited outside." "Like you said." Mara's heart nearly stopped. She rushed forward, kneeling as tears welled in her eyes. "Sweetheart, I told you to stay with Mrs. Kelly." The girl sniffled, whispering, "She said she couldn't keep me anymore." The bar was silent, rough faces softening as the child's tiny arms wrapped around her mother. The biker leader blinked hard, guilt carving lines into his face. Mara hugged her daughter tightly, whispering, "It's okay now. You're safe." The girl looked up innocently at the group of hardened men. "Are they your friends, Mommy?" The leader swallowed hard and said softly, "We are now." That simple sentence carried more weight than anyone expected. But Mara's eyes clouded with fear again as the sound of sirens echoed faintly outside the bar. Red and blue lights flickered through the rain-streaked windows, casting ghostly reflections across the bar. Mara's pulse quickened. She knew that sound too well. Not from fear of guilt, but from a lifetime of running. The little girl clung tighter, whispering, "Mommy, are they coming for us again?" The words sliced through the biker leader's chest. "What do you mean again?" he asked gently. Mara took a trembling breath. "My husband. He didn't make it back. His family blamed me for everything. We've been moving ever since." Her eyes filled, but she held her chin high. "I just wanted a place to start over." The bikers exchanged glances, men who'd seen battle in their own way, men who suddenly saw her not as a fragile woman, but as one of them. The sirens faded, passing by. For the first time in years, Mara exhaled. The bar stood still, waiting, as if the world itself paused to ask what would happen next. When the sirens disappeared into the distance, the leader stepped closer, his voice softer than anyone had ever heard it. "You don't have to run anymore, Mara," he said. "You've got family here now." The bikers nodded, one by one. Men once feared by the town now standing like silent guardians around her and her child. Mara's tears fell freely, not from pain this time, but from release. Her daughter reached out to touch the tattoo on her mother's shoulder, the emblem of the fallen Marines, and smiled. "Daddy would be proud, right?" Mara nodded, whispering, "He'd be proud that we're still standing." The leader took off his leather jacket and placed it over her shoulders with quiet respect. "You earned this more than any of us," he murmured. The bar that once echoed with laughter and mockery now carried only the hum of reverence. Outside, the rain stopped, sunlight cutting through the clouds. It wasn't just another night in a bar. It was the night hearts changed and honor found its way home. Morale. Never judge someone by their silence. Sometimes the quietest souls carry the loudest stories of courage.